Yo, what up? Welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Maria Jr. and I'm joined today by my host, Ezekiel Reese. And we got a special guest with us today. We got a pro boxer out of Ireland, heavyweight, Thomas Carty. How's it going, Thomas?
Good, all good, mate. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of
No
course.
problem. Thank you so much for making the time.
No
First,
problem, no problem.
first question we got for you is probably the most asked boxing question is, how did you get into boxing?
How did I get into boxing? There's a sport we play here in Ireland you probably don't know. It's called Gaelic football. It's like soccer, basketball, and rugby all mixed into the one. It's a bit of a crazy man sport, but I was playing that at the highest level up until about 16, and I'm 6'4", so 193 centimeters, nearly 194 centimeters. I was tall, got really tall, really fast, but I was very skinny. So and the game we play is a bit rough. You can get a couple of straight punches and stuff like that. So I wanted to kind of get a bit stronger, I suppose. And a family friend, his name is Christopher Conway. He actually took me to the boxing club. He was the first person to bring me to a boxing club. And I was playing both. I was playing football, Gaelic football, and boxing at the same time in my first year. But the boxing really took off for me. I got really good really fast. I was quite athletic. So I kind of threw the Gaelic football to the side and carried on with the boxing, and the rest is history. Here we are now since 16, yeah.
Yes, sir. Glad to hear. Next question would be, how did you get the nickname the Bomber?
Absolutely, completely unrelated to boxing, believe it or not. that's something that my uncle and his friends have called me since I was a kid. I'm not too sure, to be completely honest, but the Bomber is completely unrelated to any knockouts that I have. That's been a nickname I've had since a child, which is crazy. So yeah, that's where that nickname came from. My uncle and his friends, nothing to do with boxing whatsoever.
There you go. And then I also saw leading up to your last fight, you're wearing a shirt that said, no Carty, no party, which I just think is genius. Play on your last name. Who came up with that slogan? And can you just kind of explain to us, what that means exactly?
I actually, so my first, it's a bit of a funny story. My first ever professional boxing sparring camp. Heavyweight sparring it's so valuable, and it's a big thing because they fly, especially I know other weight classes do it, but heavyweights especially fly sparring partners from all over the world to spar. To be quite specific, and it was my first one. Derek Chisora flew me to London when he was fighting against Usyk. I was actually still amateur at the time. I had no even intentions of turning pro, and one of the media outlets, I think, wrote it one. He wrote it one day. I forget where it came from, but he basically wrote it, and it snowballed from there. To be completely honest, so it was one of the media outlets came up with it, and we just ran. There was no logo or anything. It was just a slogan, and then we ran with the red X, and now it's everywhere now. Yeah.
Yeah, very creative.
Good to hear. Now let's take it back a little bit, back to your amateur career. What were some major accomplishments for you?
I think I was named captain of the Irish under-22 squad that we went out. We went to the European Championships in Romania, I think it was, and I was one of the guys that was tipped to win a medal. I had been on the Irish team since I was, pretty young, to be completely honest. It's almost as soon as I started boxing, I was like national team level, to be completely honest. Not that I was one of the best, but they saw the potential and they had me there. And by the time 22 came around, I had been on it a while, and they were tipping me to win a medal, named me as captain, but I got beaten, and I was like, I think I drew Ukraine, got like a really bad cut. My first ever cut, got a really bad cut of my eye, and I kept looking down at the blood on my hands and all of my face. It kind of threw me off, but yeah, my biggest achievement would be named captain of that squad, I think. And then I boxed Clemente Russo, who fought Usyk in the 2012 Olympic finals. I boxed Clemente Russo, and I thought I won the fight, to be completely honest. It was a 5-round fight, a WSB fight in Italy, and I thought I beat him. Although I came out with a loss, that was one of my biggest achievements because there was nothing expected of me. I fought a guy who was a 2-time Olympic silver medalist, and I done really well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's probably a lot more, but they're the ones that stick out in my head. I've won numerous national titles. I wasn't bad in school, but I was pretty wild in school. And for my second national title, all the school teachers, my principal, actually came to watch me win, that's one of my biggest achievements. To show that, in education, I was pretty wild. I didn't have too much interest in school, but to see them watch me apply myself in a different field and to do really well. That was cool, you know.
Absolutely. And then getting into your pro career, you made your debut back in May 2021. What were your emotions heading into your first pro fight? Were there any nerves?
My first pro fight, it was pretty crazy, to be completely honest. I made my debut during lockdown, in like a closed stadium show. You had to get COVID tested to enter. I made my debut in Belgium, actually. So we flew to Amsterdam, got the train from Amsterdam to Belgium on a pretty good show. I was nervous. The ring was the smallest ring I've ever stood in my whole life. I was nervous going into the fight. Guy was quite durable. He's actually the only guy out of my 7 fights that I haven't stopped. Every other one has been a stopper since. But I was nervous enough, to be completely honest. Everything was new, but I feel like I made my debut twice, because my first fight, as I said, was during lockdown, closed doors. Then my second fight was on like a big, huge matchroom card in London at the O2 Arena. So I felt like I had 2 debuts. I had my professional boxing debut, and then I had my real boxing debut on an actual open show, thousands in attendance, big stadium, all the bells and whistles that come with these matchroom shows. So I feel like I made 2 debuts now when I think back on it, But yeah, I was definitely nervous for my first fight.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now you have been on both fights of Taylor versus Cameron fights. How great for your career has it been for your exposure on those big cards?
Yeah, I've always said, I never really had, not that I had no intentions to turn pro, but I was kind of naive and unaware of the professional boxing world. The first pro boxing fight I ever seen was David Haye and Nikolai Valuev, and didn't really see much boxing since then. So in terms of my career, everything is a bonus. And to be on those 2 cards, and for my first, on May 20th, for Cameron Taylor 1, everybody said that I stole the show. I was the star of the show, to be completely honest. I won a Celtic title at a big flashy knockout. It was fairy tale stuff. So in terms of exposure, I have a career already that I couldn't even have dreamt of, to be completely honest. 7 fights in, all my fights, bar my debut, have been on major. Even my debut was a big card, but they've all been on major shows. So I'm living the dream, to be completely honest. Those 2 Taylor Cameron fights, they propelled me so much. Like, I can't go anywhere in Dublin anymore without people recognizing me, which is weird. I wouldn't class myself as famous or well known or anything, but it's crazy that so many people know who I am and ask for pictures and autographs, and it's a bit surreal, because I think without all the bells and whistles and without all the recognition and everything online, I'd still probably be doing this. I'm super competitive. I just love what I do. So it's just one of the perks that come with the job, to be completely honest.
Yeah, man. When I was sorry to cut you off, Jose, but I was on Twitter, right, the day of your fight, and I was going through it, and then I just seen like a swing on my phone. I'm like, hold on, and I said, I of course knew who Cameron and Taylor were, and then I seen your fight, and I'm like shit, I gotta hop on this, I gotta do this, and I typed it in, and I gotta get this guy for an interview. But all respect to those fighters, it's like B-side, but very, very competitive fighters out there, not only here in the US, but out there as well. We give love to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes balls to step in the ring, no matter what side you're on. You know what I mean? Absolutely. From the top of the food chain right down to the bottom, man. Everybody's a warrior that gets in there and deserves respect. I'm with you on that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And Thomas, I unfortunately did not get to see your fight, but I was listening to it. I was driving to it, and it just seemed like the announcers were being very critical of your performance. How would you personally describe your performance versus Dan Garber?
Personally, I wasn't too happy with the performance. I was very eager to get the stoppage, to get the knockout. After 1 or 2, like, as you can see, I fought last week. I don't think he landed 1 punch.
Can't tell.
He never engaged. Yeah, he never engaged. I'm not happy with the performance. I hold myself to extremely high standards now, to be completely honest. I hold myself really high standards. I know what I can do in the gym. Everybody who knows me personally sees what I do in the gym. All these top heavyweights in the world call me for sparring all the time. If I was no good, they wouldn't be calling me. The performance, it wasn't amazing, but a guy I know, he said it to me. He said, "You set the place alight on the first fight." He said, "You set the bar really high. It's going to be hard to follow after that." I think I was eager to impress, and in that, Probably got a bit sloppy. I wouldn't say the game plan even went out the window, but the guy never wanted to engage. Tied me up every time we were in close. Couldn't work. I thought the ref maybe could have warned him. If he had a warned him for holding, it would have been a completely different fight because I would have been able to work in close. And yeah, not too happy with the performance, but it's lit another fire underneath me to show everybody what I can do in my next fight, because I know what I'm capable of. And people can be critical, you know what I mean? Everybody's entitled to an opinion, People can be critical, and rightly so. That's like I said, I hold myself to a high standard. When you fight really good in previous fights, they're going to hold you to that standard as well. So, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right.
Yep, gotcha.
But by no means the finished article. I'm 7 fights in. You know what I mean? Like I said, all my fights have been high pressure situations. There's been no bums, backyard bums, being knocked out in leisure centre shows or really small shows. So what I say is give me another fight and I'll show you what I can do, and give me a guy that wants to fight. But then again, at the same time, Dillian said it to me. My manager said it to me. He said nobody is going to stand there and take the power up. Nobody has to stand there and take your power right on their face. You know what I mean? They're going to make it difficult, and as you go up the levels, it's going to get more difficult. But I'm really looking forward to fighting again, to righting the wrongs, and to prove to everybody why I'm one of the best heavyweights in the world, but why I class myself as one of the best heavyweights in the world. Technically, I think I'm one of the best heavyweights in the world right now. I know I didn't show it on Saturday, but I've got skills. I really, really do have skills, special skills. I've been told by some of the best coaches in the world, amateur and pro, I can do things that some heavyweights can't do.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Any plans on eventually making your US debut?
Yeah, I would love to. I got big fan base in Boston. I've got family in Boston, so I would love to get out to Boston and fight there, and hopefully make it to Vegas before the end of this year. Make it to Vegas just at the end of December. I want to do some sparring all over those gyms, and that's always been my dream, is the sparring, like Mayweather's gym and the top ranked gym and stuff like that. And hopefully jump on a show, or who knows what can happen. But yeah, I'd love to make my US debut. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
And Thomas, as you mentioned, you were just in a fight recently, but you came out unblemished. You can't even tell. When might we see you back in the ring again?
ASAP. There's a big fight in Belfast, which is an hour from Dublin tomorrow night. I would have loved to fight on that a week later, to be completely honest. I know it probably wasn't practical, but I was calling out. I want to right the wrongs and show everybody what I can do. Listen, it's a good position to be in, to not box to your best of your ability and still knock a guy out and win every round in a fight, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a bad position whatsoever. I'm just looking forward to getting out again. I'm eager, 28 years of age. I live the life, I live a good life, and good healthy life. I can fight whenever. I'm ready to go whenever.
That's great to hear.
But realistically, I would say February time, realistic. But I've got lots of big sparring camps coming up, but I would say end of February, start of March.
Okay, that's awesome. Good to hear, man. Any particular opponents you have in mind for your next fight?
I hold a belt. I can't find it now, but I hold a belt, a Celtic heavyweight belt. So it's the best heavyweight in Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. There's a couple of guys that are eligible. This fight with this last guy, Dan Garber, we've offered it to 5 opponents who are eligible to fight for my belt. Nobody wanted to fight me. So props to the guy. I know he ran away for the fight, but props to Dan Garber. He accepted the fight. He came. He got in the ring. But there is a lot of guys eligible. Just nobody seems to want to fight, There's an Irish belt, an Irish title. The last person to hold the Irish heavyweight title, the last person to hold it was Tyson Fury. So I want to be the next. But you need a dance partner. And we're finding it difficult to get one,
That's right.
Agreed. And then, is there any dream venue in mind you would like to headline one day?
For me, the headline.
Mm-hmm.
The dream for me, to be honest, is the headline where I fought on Saturday night. Last Saturday is the Tree Arena. Right now, that's the dream, because I could see it being realistic. I can actually see myself headlining the Tree Arena next year. Mid to late 2024. But dream venue to fight in. There's talks of the Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron trilogy, or else there's talks of Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano 2 happening in Croke Park, which is like literally out my window here. I can see the stadium here. It's 80,000 people. I could walk to the venue. That would be a dream come true. And that's, I think, might actually happen in May, June time. So either of those. But all these dreams that people used to talk to me about, and I used to tell people dream venue, this, that, and the other, it's a little bit more realistic now than it's ever been, to be completely honest.
Yeah, and those venues all electric, so a great fight.
Yeah, electric, man. Like the Irish fans are special. You've probably seen it with the McGregor and Aldo fights and stuff like that in America. Irish fans are special, and I have a massive following here in Dublin, especially considering I have 7 fights. I have a huge following. People could see that last Saturday night. The stadium was empty enough, and then as soon as I came on, there wasn't a seat to be found in the stadium. You know what I mean? Which was cool. That's a really good takeaway point as well. People want to see me. People want to support me. You know what I mean? I'm kind of a man of the people. So any of these venues, man, get me on them, and we're going to fill them out. And as you said, the atmosphere would be electric.
Now, you sparred Tyson Fury in the past. How was that experience for you, sparring him?
Like, experience-wise, I couldn't have sparred anyone better anywhere in the world. He's one of the best I've ever been in the ring with. It's amazing, and the amount I learned, and the amount that he taught me personally. It's not just a case of jump in the ring and let me try beat the shit out of you. He was actually actively trying to teach me, actively giving me tips and stuff like that. An amazing experience, man. Absolutely amazing.
Great, yeah. That's what sparring should be about. And then Thomas, who has been, in your opinion, the hardest puncher you've been in the ring with, either in a fight or in sparring?
He's my manager, but Dillian White is one tough guy, man. One tough guy. He's he's given me some bad beatdowns in the past, but we get some good rounds in. But Dillian White's style for me, styles make fights. That is one difficult side. He hit me some rough overhands and body shots, man. But I've been in the ring with some great fighters: Filip Hrgovic, Lawrence Okoli, Derek Chisora. I've sparred Brian Jennings. You have obviously your Tyson Furies, Anthony Joshua's. I've been in with everybody probably apart from Usyk and Deontay Wilder.
Great. Yeah, and in your division, you don't want to get hit by too many of those hard punches.
No, absolutely not.
I got you. As we all have that favorite boxer growing up, who was your favorite boxer growing up?
David Haye, without a shadow of a doubt. Nice. David Haye was my favorite. He was my growing up that I actually watched David Haye. I loved Michael Moore though, and Evander Holyfield. That's who I'd look back on now if I was chilling watching YouTube. Would be the likes of Michael Moore or Evander Holyfield. I loved Lennox Lewis, but growing up, who I actually watched growing up was David Haye.
Gotcha.
And now bringing it to present day, Thomas, who do you consider to be the #1 pound for pound fighter today?
It would have to be, I think, #1 spot would have to be the Tyson Fury or Terence Crawford. And then followed by Usyk. I don't know, followed by Usyk. A lot would be said, but when Usyk and Tyson Fury fight, depending on how it goes, I'll either put them above Terence Crawford or on the same pedestal as Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is unbelievable. I think if he was a bit more flamboyant in the way he speaks, he would be a worldwide superstar. It's literally just because he's a straight up fireman, no bullshit guy. You know what I mean? That's people don't like people that are good. They like a good enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the Mayweather blueprint where he was hated.
Yeah, they like the Mayweather blueprint shit. Yeah, but Terence Crawford is amazing, man. Yeah, a huge fan.
Gotcha. Now let me pick your brain a little bit on this. On some upcoming matches, Tyson Fury versus Usyk.
I think Fury's going to do the bit. You can't bet against Fury, but Usyk is also a generational great. You know what I mean? So really great fight. Can't bet against Fury though.
Gotcha. Anthony Joshua versus Otto Walling.
Difficult fight, really difficult fight. I think Otto Walling is no joke. But if AJ is to do what I think he's going to do in the heavyweight division on this third assault for a world title, I think he's going to do the business, and in devastating fashion too.
Gotcha. Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker.
I'm backing Joseph Parker.
And last but not least, if the fight was to happen next year, David Benavidez versus Canelo.
This is one that I really, really just don't know, because Demetrius Andrade was one of my all-time favorite fighters, and I cannot believe what happened to Andrade. I really can't believe it. Maybe it was inactivity, because Andrade is no joke. So I'm gonna go with Benavidez. If there was a gun to my head, I'm gonna go with Benavidez. The guy must be a savage, because Andrade is no joke. Bro. I've seen Andrade up close a couple of times. I've went to watch him in Boston. I've heard stories about him in the gym. I've followed him for a long time as a fan. So for Benavidez to do what he did, man,
crazy.
I'd have to pick him over Canelo at the moment.
Respectful.
And then coming back to you, Thomas, what are some things you like to do outside of boxing? Some of your interests and hobbies?
Outside of boxing, I like to do saunas and ice baths. That's what I got big into lately, to be completely honest. Saunas and ice baths, I'm a big fan. I don't know, you guys do them in America that much in the States?
Mm-mm.
No. Saunas and ice baths. So yeah, it's a real Joe Rogan thing. I do it for relaxation. You hear a lot about it on Joe Rogan, to be completely honest. But that's what I enjoy doing. I like playing PlayStation. Play a lot of Fortnite, and yeah, man, I'm not gonna lie and say I read books and shit, because I don't. You know what I mean? I gotta tell the truth. Things I like to do outside of eating food, bro. I'm a big guy. I like to eat food. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie and give you. I like to sit in silence and meditate. No, man, I play PlayStation. Yeah, I'm not just stereotypical Irish guy. I don't drink that much. You know what I mean? And very rarely. So I live a good life, you know, because it's a short career, and if you want to make the most out of it, you need to put it in all the time. So I fought Saturday night, wasn't too happy with my performance. So I was straight back in the gym on Monday.
Gotcha.
That's the key to discipline.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. You know, as I said, I don't think if I wasn't boxing, I would be doing another sport at a really high level. I think I'm not going to be one of these like Tyson. That Tyson was born to be a fighter, Mike Tyson. I probably wasn't born to be a fighter. I'm just super competitive. It's a single sport, you know, so I really love what I do. But if I wasn't boxing, I'd probably be doing a different sport, to be completely honest, and probably doing it at a high level, I'd like to think.
Gotcha. And let me ask you this: how proud are you to represent Ireland in the sport of boxing?
So proud, you know, so proud for such a small country. You know, we're an absolutely minuscule country, really small. We produce really, really good fighters, and to be, you know, the front of headlines and newspapers back here, me, you know, out of all these great fighters, you know, on the days where it's me in these newspapers, it's a really proud moment for me, because I could go on all day. I could do an hour right now telling you how many good fighters there is in this country. And for me to be talked about amongst the great fighters at the moment, or the up and coming exciting fighters, that's a big privilege for me, you know. So it makes me really, really proud. And if I do what I think I'm going to do in boxing, you know, I'd like to go down as one of the all-time Irish greats, to be completely honest.
Very cool.
Very cool, man.
And then this next question is more for the younger generation. What's the best piece of advice you would give someone who's thinking about going pro and making a career out of boxing?
To know that from the beginning you're going to make absolutely no money whatsoever. That's a big one. You need to get that one out of the way and tell people, because you don't say, I'm going to go pro, make no, you're going to lose money turning pro. You're going to lose a lot of money, to be completely honest. It's not an easy career, and even if everything goes right for you, it still might not pull off. You know what I mean? It still might not. I'd like to class myself as an intelligent guy. You know, well-educated, intelligent guy, half intelligent. I'm a fighter. I'm not that intelligent, but half intelligent guy. If I didn't think I could make a good living out of this right now, sitting here at this moment, I just have a job. To be completely honest, I just say no. I'm gonna have a job, nice, safe job, play it safe. But my advice would be to anybody who's considering turning pro is, if you really, really want to do it, and you need to think about, you know, really want to do it, I would say go all in and go for it now, because we're not getting any younger. You know what I mean? There's never going to be a right time. I'll do it when this comes around, or doing that turns off. Just do it. Go for it, man. See what you can make of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would say make sure to put your all into it, because it's not something that you can do half-heartedly, because you know, when the going gets tough in the ring, it's not just getting knocked out. You're putting your health at risk. Every time you get in the ring there, you're putting your health at risk. So it is not a game. You know, it's cliche, boxing's not a game. You don't play boxing, but it's true, man. People die in the ring. People get, you know, permanent damage in the ring. So you really need to weigh up. It's not all glitz and glamour, you know what I mean? And like 1% of it is glitz and glamour, you know? It's the likes of your Canelos and Mayweathers and your AJs and your Furies. The top of the food chain is when it's glitz and glamour. It's a hard slog. And if you are going to go for it, I would say go all in. You know, it's very respect to anybody who boxes and works at the same time, because shit, man, it's hard enough to do boxing full time, you know?
Yeah. Well said.
Gotcha. Is that more of a question? Is more to open up the floor here. Any message to your fans and supporters?
Message to my fans and supporters is thank you. You know, without the fans and supporters, it's another cliche. Without the fans and supporters, I wouldn't be where I am, because, you know, the support they give me propels my name forward, makes my brand bigger, makes me more lucrative to have on a card. it makes it more appealing for these big promoters like Eddie Hearn to get me on these cards, because they say, well, if we get Thomas Carty, he's going to bring all those crazy fans. And I don't just have normal fans. My fans are nuts. Like the fans we have are crazy here in Dublin and Ireland, across Ireland. So massive shout out, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. And I appreciate every single person, like the events last week, your public workouts, your weigh-in, and I always hang around. I always hang around for all the photographs and for all the, autographs, anything like that, because we're blessed enough to be in this position here. I've always dreamt of being in a position like this, so I need to make the most of it and give back. And there'll probably come a time where hopefully I get big enough where I won't be able to, because I'll just get mobbed, because I'm being mobbed at the moment. But I'll continue for as long as I can. Because I love it and I appreciate it all.
Great. Well, Thomas, thank you so much for your time. It was great to get to know you a little bit better. We agree. This is the no Carty, no party. So we look forward to seeing you.
You got it right. Usually people get it wrong first time round. You got it right. Perfect.
Yeah, so we continue to see you climb the ladder in the heavyweight division, and we'll be rooting for you.
100%, mate. I hopefully get the link up soon in the States. Yeah,
that'll be awesome. Let's do it,
guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me on. All right.
All right.
Nice to meet you.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of the day.